Hi guys, welcome back to another online tutorial. Today I'm going to be covering how to fix a Buffalo NAS, which is the LS-XL. It's a bit confusing because it won't actually say LS-XL on the bottom of your unit. It will say something like LS-X1 or X2 or X3. If you don't have these model numbers, please don't follow this guide because you'll end up breaking your NAS even further. So the whole point of me posting this video online is to help you either repair the flashing blue light and you can't access the device, or you've upgraded the device with a new hard drive and you get the blue light. Either way, you'll need to format your hard drives, unfortunately, because the way the flash method, we're going to reflash it to try and fix it, and that needs you can't have a partition on the drive. It's a bit of an oversight by Buffalo on this particular device, but yeah, hopefully it fixes your problem. So let's not waste any more time, and I'm going to show you how you can force to reflash your device. So I've got a couple of files here. I'll explain those in a minute. Now I'm using a Windows machine. If you are using a Mac or Linux, then basically what you want to do is head over to anywhere where you can access the drive. So I should have mentioned this. You do have to take the drive out of the computer, guys, okay, out of the NAS to format it. Well, remove the partition. There's no way around that, unfortunately. It's really straightforward to open. It will take you a whole 2 minutes, and I might even do a video how to do that. So I'm just loading up the disk manager now, and this has gone really crazy. The drive okay, it's this one here, and what I'm going to do is delete all these. So let's delete. So delete volume. Yes, delete that one as well. Can I do multiples? No, you fail, Windows. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm putting a 2 gig hard drive in there, and it's already got partitions on there from my Linux machine. So what I'm going to do is delete all those, and as you see now, what I've got is a empty drive and no partition. So I'm going to exit the tools now, and I'm going to bring up the 2 files you need. The first one is kind of an older update, because I don't know the passwords for the latest version, but once we've got this version on, which is 1.65, you can then upgrade to the latest version, and I believe they just recently updated it because there was a security vulnerability or something. But anyway, we've got 2 files. We've got the firmware 165 that we will need. I'll try and put it in the description because I know Buffalo have taken it off their site. I had to find a mirror. And the next thing you need is TFTP, which I'll also put in the description. Okay, so what we're going to do is, this is the portable version of the client. So I'm just going to extract it here. And I'm also going to extract the firmware. Okay, I'm going to go into the firmware directory. I'm just going to copy those out and delete that so it's less confusing. I'm going to go into the firmware, and what I want you to do is I want you to click init, rd.image and uImage.img, and we're going to right click it and we're going to copy them and we're going to paste them. And then what we're going to do there with our backup is we're going to remove the fire extension, and we're going to put a zip there. Okay, we'll remove the copy as well. We want to say yes and do the same again. Okay, now what we want to do is extract that, and there's a password which I will put in the description. It's what Buffalo have done, so I've actually got the password. This is the password I was on about earlier, where the latest version of the firmware, I don't know the password. so can't extract it. Okay, so I can see it's extracted up there. Now what I want to do is extract the uImage as well, and that's going to ask me for a password. And okay, so what I want to do is move that into a folder called TFTP, and the other file I need is out of uImage, and the one you want is LSP.5. Okay, so come out of there, put that in that folder, and then what we need to do is we need to rename I need to look at this up because I forget. We need to rename this to uImage, I think. Okay, yeah. So where we've got LSP, the -LSP5.x, we need to remove all that. So it's just uimage.buffalo and initrd.buffalo. Then what we're going to do is move that folder out and put it in there. And then we are ready for the next step. So I'm going to pause it here and continue off when I've put the hard drive back into the NAS. So what you need to do now is unplug the hard drive from your computer and put it back into the NAS. Okay, don't plug it back in until I give you further instructions, and I'll carry on in a minute. Hi guys, so your hard drive should now be disconnected. You should have it back in your Buffalo NAS. However, you should not plug the NAS in, and definitely don't power it on or anything at this point. So what I want you to do now is load up network connections. We need to change some adapter settings. This is the most possibly the hardest bit if you're not familiar with networking. What you need to do is you need to use a crossover cable, which goes from the computer to the Buffalo, or you can use a switch, but you can't have your router or anything else which provides a DCHP server, which is basically provides the IP addresses. So use a crossover cable to keep it simple if you've got one. If not, use a switch, network hub, and cable from the switch to your computer, and then the switch to your NAS drive. But as I said, at this point we're not connecting anything up at this point. We're just going to do the settings and take it from there. So I've typed in the bottom right hand corner, I've got the search up, the Windows search. I'm going to type in network and I'm going to click network status. Now what we need to do is change the adapter options. So I'm going to go to this one here, change adapter options. I'm going to right click it. Well, if I double click it now to show you, it's got doesn't have a valid IP address. That's an internal one because nothing is issuing an IP address. So what we're going to do is we're going to set this up to work statically, and then we're also going to set the computer to become a DCHP server to issue the Buffalo an IP address. So anyway, so right click it, properties, go down to Internet Protocol version 4, IP4, and we're going to type in 192.168.1.1, and it's going to be 1. So 192.168.11.1. The submap mask is 255.255.255.0, and we leave everything else as default. So click that. I'm going to disable it and then enable it, and then I'm going to check to make sure it's got the IP address. And there we go, it's got the IP address. Awesome. So I'm going to close that down now, and we're going to go back to that folder we made earlier, and we're going to use the TFTP. Now we made a folder earlier where our files go, and then we extracted the portable version of TFTPD into this folder. So what I want you to do is go and run that. And now I've actually gone through these settings myself earlier, so I'm going to quickly show you how to do this. So first we want to go down to settings at the bottom here. I'm going to minimize that so you can actually see a hell of a lot better. I'm going to click settings, just put that over there, and then we want to select the folder. Now the easier way to select it is go into there, copy that path here, Control C, and just paste it into there. Okay, I've already done that earlier, as I said. So the TFTP security needs to be read only, so click that one, and then you need to click bind TFTP to this address, which is 192.168.11.1. okay, let's go over to global. Now you should only have 3 clicked here, which is TFTP server, syslog server. That will tell us basically what's going on, so it's like a log. And we've got the DCHP server, which I talked about earlier. So this computer will issue an IP address to the Buffalo device. Okay, so only three options there. You need to click 2 here, which is read only and bind, and make sure it's to this address, and also the base folder. I'm going to copy that. Now what we want to do is, this is what the DCHP server is doing, so we need to tell it to start the IP address from number 2, because we're number 1, so it can't be 1. So just type in 192.168.11.2, put the size of pool 254, doesn't really matter, and we're going to put the default router, which is def router, and put that as the IP address of the computer, which is 192.168.11.1, and the mask is 255.255.255.0, and then right at the bottom, very important, click bind DHP to this address, and again we select computer, and then we don't need to worry about the syslog. So just quick overview, make sure this is quite important you get this right, because if you get this wrong it can leave you a bit puzzled, especially if it starts the process and gets stuck halfway. So 3 options there: TFTP, syslog, DHP. Make sure you got the folder at the top, read only, bind to address, DCHP, the IP address to start from, the size pool, and the default, and the mask, blah blah blah, blind. You get the idea. Just make sure that's right. Let's click OK. Now what we're going to do is we're going to exit that now, and basically what will happen is that will save, and we should, and I'll show you, it should have the settings saved. So click settings, make sure they're saved, which I know they are. Don't click default, whatever you do. Let's close that down. Okay, once you're convinced that you've got all of those options correct, what we're going to do is we're going to power on the NAS, and then we're going to wait about 30 seconds and it's going to do its little thing. So I'm just going to plug that NAS in now, and if you plug in yours as well, the network cable and the power supply. Okay, mine's plugged in now. Now we just have to wait, and it will do its little thing. It will get an IP address, and then hopefully the TFTP will start. There we go. As you can see on the screen, it's doing its little update, and basically what it's doing is those 2 files we made earlier in the TFTP folder, they've just been uploaded to the NAS, and then what's going to happen is the NAS is going to restart. So I want you to go over to the DCHP server, and we should get a renewal. The device should come back on, so fingers crossed. So where I renewed it last night, it should renew in a minute, because I did a test run last night. Okay, so there we go, it's now renewed. What that means is we can now go ahead and flash the device and hopefully fix or upgrade your NAS. So at this point you should no longer get that the blue light should no longer be blinking. It should be a solid blue light, and the process to take a notice off is when you plug on the NAS, it should upload those 2 files, then it will reset, and then within here you'll get a DCHP renewal. If you're not getting that, try the step again before you go on to the next step. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to go back to our folder, and we're going to come out of that folder, and we're now going to go into the flash folder with the firmware. What I want you to do is load up ls-updater.ini. Now I've already done the flags earlier, but you'll basically get all of this here, and what you need to do is add brackets, special flags, debug equals 1. Save that file. That can be done in Notepad. It doesn't need to be done. It can be done in any text editor. So once you've done that, save it and close it. And now what we're going to do is we're going to run ls-updater.exe. Give it permission. Let's close that down so you can see what's going on. So as you can see, that's now found the device where previously you probably didn't have that. Do not click update at this point. It's not what we need to do. What you need to do is at the top here, you've got 2 little like a ring. I don't know what icon it is. It's a stupid icon, but click that and click debug. Okay, let's move that out of the way. Now what we want to do is where you've got the update box there, we want to uncheck all of those, and on the right hand side, do not check version, rebuild partition and force update. Click OK to save. Make sure you've only got the 3 options, you're not changing anything else. And now what we're going to do is click update. As you can see, it's now formatting the hard drive. Now I've actually gone ahead and early on in the video you saw me deleting a partition off a 2 terabyte hard drive. That one's already set up now, and I've just put an SSD 120 gig into the NAS to make this process a bit quicker, so you're not, because it does take quite a while, not to transfer the firmware, to set up the partitions and to do everything else it needs to do. On the 2 terabyte hard drive I've got, it's only a 5,400 rotations per minute or whatever, and it's quite slow. It takes about 25 minutes. I'm hoping this is a lot quicker so you don't have to sit through it all. Let it do its let it transfer the firmware. I'm just going to pull up something in a second. So I'm just going to put that there for later, which is a which is for our browser. During this process, the blue light should be constantly blue and not flashing. Okay, that's transferred the firmware. Now it's writing it again. I don't know the ins and out what it does, but yeah. Once you have installed this firmware, which is a 1.65, you'll be able to upgrade to the latest version. Okay, the Linkstation has now been rebooted, and at this point the light will blink blue on the NAS, so don't worry, hopefully that will go away soon. And we should get a DCHP renewal when okay, as you see, it's uploading those two files again. Do not worry about that, okay, because they're files we're using anyway with the firmware, so don't be alarmed. If anything, it's a good thing because we know the boxes are responding after the firmware update. Let's bring up the browser window to see if it's working. No, it's not. It's not ready yet. It's still blinking. This text will go from Linkstation has rebooted to Linkstation is booting. Okay, it's taken quite a while. I thought it would be a lot quicker with the SSD. Don't worry, it does take a long time. The guide I found online, which I will also link to in the description, I haven't made up this tutorial. I just thought I'd document it a little bit my way because the Buffalo site I got it off, it got me a bit confused, especially with finding the debug option. This had me stumped for quite some time with the Buffalo Linkstation series update, the little ring you click, and also I got stuck on the fact that okay, sorry to interrupt, that is now booting, which is basically the last process. So let's do a thing. The other thing I got confused was when I was updating the firmware, when those two files get uploaded again, I was like, well, that can't be right. Why, you know, I've just flashed it and now it's rebooting, and then this TFTP thing is now putting these files back on there. Surely that's not right. So I got a bit confused by that, and I tried to prevent it and it didn't work. You just have to let it do its thing, and it takes a while, as you can see. And this is only a 120 gig SSD, but as far as I can see, it's actually no quicker than the hard drive, which is a bit disappointing because I'm hungry. We might get an IP renewal at the top here, but we're not sure because it might already be using the same IP. I'm not sure. So let's bring up our browser, and that's not working yet. So we still need to, the light's still blinking on the NAS, so it's still doing something. It is doing something. It's not like before where it was just blinking and it wouldn't get anywhere. This is actually doing something to the partition tables and whatever it needs to do. It's pretty poor, piss poor setup really. What Buffalo done, the other NASs I've used look much older than this one, but they actually have the restore process is actually a lot easier than it is on this one. But as long as it works, and you know, it's not every day you upgrade the hard drive or the fault occurs. Okay, so it's just renewed the IP address. Winner winner chicken dinner. So at 18:15. So fingers crossed it should be now accessible. Is it? Is it hell? Oh, I've got the wrong IP address then, that's why. Okay. So what we need to do now is, okay, that firmware should come back. Yep, Linkstation has been updated, so excellent. Just going to try search it. We're going to quit that now, and it should now be viewable in our if you've got it installed, the NAS Navigator too. So it should find it in there now. So we can set the time. I'm not going to bother doing that because the hard drive. Oh, what size did it come up as? Just out of interest, because it's 120 gig. Okay, so it's come up as 97.6 gig. Okay, if you're using a larger hard drive, it will come up on there. Earlier I had something like 1.87, I think, gig or something like that for a 2 terabyte drive. Close that down. So what we need to do is log into our Linkstation. Now you actually see it's come up in Japanese. Not to worry, I'm going to talk you through how to set it to English. So we're going to type in admin as the username, and the password is password. And it's going to log in. And what we want to click is the second one up from the top, which is here, from the right, sorry. Now we're going to click this one here should be visible, sorry, and then we're going to click the third one there, and then we're going to click this button, and now we're going to find English. I think that's going to be fine. Not too. Just trying to remember. Is that okay? Is that okay? Let's see. Well, that looks like okay. So click the OK on the left hand side. Third accordion or jQuery type drop down box, FAQ type thing, and click English. Might log us out. I can't remember now. It was quite late when I did it last night, so and we're greeted with a blank page, which I assume is going to delete that off, and I'm going to log back in, and hopefully it's now English. And there we go, guys. Winner winner chicken dinner. We're back in, and you can now update to the latest version. I believe there's one of 2018, or there was a security vulnerability or something this year. But yeah, I hope the tutorials helped. If it has, please subscribe. It really does help and motivates me to help other people. As always, things like this can go wrong, and I accept no liability in case you've bricked your device. I hope you enjoyed the video. I'll speak to you soon. Bye bye.